So, ayun, good day everyone. Salamat sa pag-attend sa ating meeting. Uh, we may start our evaluation report. Siyempre sa ating unang activity, you may proceed.
Good day everyone. Kami nga pala ay ang practitioners and will report about Activity 1, Facebook Interactions for Sharing.
Finding. Alter&Offer conducted a survey using Google Forms to find out if the participants are satisfied with the Alter&Offer services. Garnering 40 responses, 45.2% of the respondents are in age 19, 25% are in age of 18, 17.5% are in age of 20, and 3.2% are in age of 14, 17, and 16. Next. And so the Facebook page is well organized with complete information about its advocacy and um, strongly agree 31, somewhat agree 8, somewhat disagree 1, and strongly disagree 0. Next po. And the Facebook page is active, updated, and responsive. So strongly agree 38, somewhat agree 2, somewhat disagree 0, and strongly disagree 0. Next po. The contents of the Facebook page, featured artists and fact series or quarantine series are relevant for the advocacy. The result is strongly agree 36, somewhat agree 4, somewhat disagree 0, and strongly disagree 0. Next po. And the posters were creatively designed. The result is strongly disagree 35, somewhat disagree 5, somewhat disagree 0, and strongly disagree 0. Next. For last question, the posters were effective in advertising Alter&Offer's activities in giving out informations. Strongly agree 33, somewhat agree 7, somewhat disagree 0, and strongly disagree 0. So, based on based on the findings of the survey data obtained in this activity, that most of the responses is strongly agree with the result and showing that the posters are creatively designed, managed, and useful to the respondents. So next po.
Pagbalik po sa recommendation. Recommendation. Problem 1. There are times that the moderators are not available. Because the conflict with schedule because moderators are not always available 24/7. Solution: the other members will temporarily fill the role of the moderators due to the responsibilities of the unavailable moderators to avoid the delay and increase of workload. Problem 2. There were slight connectivity issues on the side of the moderators in terms of posting the featured artists. Cause: unstable internet connection. Solution: the schedule will be adjusted, or if the another member with a stronger connection will take the part of posting the featured artist. Next slide.
So for the conclusion, the purpose of this activity was to identify yung results and problem na na-encounter throughout implementing activity 1. So yung problems nga na na-encounter is there are times na hindi available yung moderators and unstable internet. But sa nirecommend na solutions na pinropose, we were able to successfully post kahit papaano, and na-post pa rin yung iba kahit na delay ng onte. And the next is yung pag-tackle about sa survey which will be discussed by Sage.
Thank you, Lawrence. So, upon conducting the survey, it was revealed that the majority of the audiences strongly agree that the Facebook page is active and responsive. The information was well organized and contained factual information, and the contents of the page are relevant to the advocacy. The following statements were some of the feedbacks from the respondents. Job well done. Your project was a big help to everyone. Keep up the good work. Good job. Thank you for encouraging performers. Thank you for being part of your program, and many more. And thus we say that the content of the page or the page itself is helpful to the target beneficiaries. And with that, we can now proceed to the second activity.
Thank you, Sage, for giving me the stage for this. Okay. So for activity 2, we have conducted a survey in our Discord server community. So here are the findings. Next. For statement 1, the Discord server was well organized. Um, the findings out of the 23 who responded for statement 1, all of those who responded strongly agrees with the statement and none of them have different answers. For statement number 2, the moderators were active and or responsive. So out of the 23 who have responded, 86.96% of those who responded strongly agrees and 13.04% of somewhat agrees with the statement. So next is statement number 3, parts.
Thank you, Patrick, for your wonderful introduction. Out of the statement number 3, the contents and activities in the Discord channels were relevant for the advocacy. Out of the 23 who responded for statement 3, all of those who responded strongly agrees with the statement and none of them have different answers. Next. Statement number 4, the theme of the server was creatively designed. Out of the 23 who responded for statement 4, the theme of the server was creatively designed. All of those who responded strongly agrees with the statement and none of them have different answers. Next, please. Statement number 5, the server was effective in providing a peer community. Out of the 23 who responded for statement 5, the server was effective in providing a peer community. 86.96% of those who responded strongly agrees and 13.04 somewhat agrees with the statement. Next, please.
For the recommendation and conclusion, the problems encountered were very minimal. First of all, though there was internet connection problem, it was very minimal. It only occurred once. And then the schedule. For the schedule, sometimes moderators can't always respond to the queries or the questions asked by the community and its members because we moderators also have our own schedules and sometimes we can't always be present for the activities because we have varying schedules. For example, I can't be present because I have to fulfill my household chores as well. Uh, the the solutions that could be implemented to mitigate and help prevent these problems are always keep your notifications on to keep track of the what's happening in the server and provide backup in case of technical problems. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Patrick Lerom. And for now, for the evaluation report,
Excuse me, saglit. May conclusions pa ata dun sa activity 2.
For conclusion, all in all, the response lean towards the highly agreeable side with a mean score of 3.95, which means that the server, according to those who responded, is well organized, creatively designed, highly active, and helpful to the target beneficiaries. And based dun sa nakuwang data, masasabi natin yung server ay naging successful. Yun lang po. Thank you.
We now move on to the next activity.
Thank you, Barks, for that. And now for the evaluation report for the third activity, which is the symposium. For our findings, the third activity that we had is the symposium with the theme Brain Break, which held sa aming Discord channel. And we have a total of 36 attendees from the plus the members of the Alter and Offer. So next. Right after our symposium, we ask our participants to answer some questions on the specific channel in our Discord server. So here are the symposium feedbacks. So for the statement number one, the talk gave out facts that correct the misconceptions and the stigma regarding mental health. So for the results of the statement number one, we got a total average of 3.78 or 94.5%. It is somewhat agreeable that we successfully gave the audience what we really want them to learn and to break the stigma and misconceptions regarding the mental health issues. For the second statement, the talk gave enough encouragement if the need of seeking help arises. So, for the second statement, we got an average of 3.70 or 92.5%. So, it's somewhat agreeable that because of the talk, that because of the symposium, we encourage them to seek help when they need it. So, for the third statement,
Next, please. So for this third statement, the duration of this event was enough for the topic that were being discussed. So um none of them says that is strongly disagreeable, and just one of them says somewhat disagreeable, which is 4%, and three of them say somewhat agreeable, which is 13%, and 19 of them say strongly agreeable, which is 83%. So the third statement will get an average of 3.78 over 4 or 94.5%. So it is strongly agreeable that the duration of the talk is enough to discuss the topic very well. And for the fourth statement, the guest service agent and support staff of Alter and Offer are helpful and friendly. So none of them say it is strongly disagreeable, and none of them say it's somewhat disagreeable, and just three of them say somewhat agreeable, which is 13%, and 20 of them say it is strongly agreeable, which is 87%. So for the fourth question, we get an average of 3.87 over 4 or 96.8%. So it's strongly agreeable that the member of Alter and Offer is helpful and friendly. And for the fifth statement, the event was well organized. So none of them say it is strongly disagreeable, and none of them say it is somewhat disagreeable, and four of them say somewhat agreeable, which is 17%, and 19 of them say it is strongly agreeable, which is 83%. So for the fifth statement, we get an average of 3.83 over 4 or 95.8%. So it is strongly agreeable that the event is well organized.
For the recommendations, we have two problems encounter. The first problem is expiring of our Zoom session. And the cause of it is we don't have the account that's subscribing the Zoom. And for the recommendation or solution for it, we can ready another link so that if the first link was expired, we can use the another link. Or the other solution is we can borrow for an account who is subscribing at the Zoom. And the second problem is the questions did not the questions that did not answered and explained well by the speaker, because the speaker is overwhelmed with a lot of questions. And the recommendation or solution for it, we will inform the participants and guests that we only have a specific number of questions, and we can we will so the speaker will be prepared and the number of questions he or she will be encountered.
So for the conclusion, in this activity, we can say that we successfully implemented the program since the statement shows that majority of the respondents strongly agreed that the talk gave out facts that correct the misconception of stigma regarding mental health or mental health issue, and the talk gave out encouragement if the needs of seeking help arise, and the duration of event was enough for the topic to be discussed, and also the guest service agents and support staff of Alter and Offers are helpful and friendly, and most of the respondents also agreed that the event was well organized. In overall, this activity that we all the given result is strongly agreeable, and we get a total of average of 3.79 out of 4 in symposium feedback with a total of 23 respondents. And regarding the problem that we encountered, this will help us to improve the implementing future program. This would also help us to predict other problems that may arrive in the future in implementing future programs. And with that, we can avoid those problems. Overall, we meet all the expected results, so we can say that this activity is successful. With that being said, we can now proceed to the next activity.
Thank you, Zyke. So for the fourth activity is where Alter and Offer organize a virtual exhibit where we showcase the talent of 19 artists and they shared their beautiful voices and their skills on different musical instruments. The event was held on June 20, 2021 on the Alter and Offer Facebook page. And the virtual exhibit has a peak view of 52 viewers and 790 total views. And these are the findings.
Statement number one: the contents of the exhibit is relevant to the goals of Alter and Offer. Three of the respondents voted three, which is somehow agree, and 37 of the respondents voted for, which is strongly agree. And the total average is 3.925. Statement number two: the performances were enough to provide inspiration and or relaxation. Two of the respondents voted two, which is somehow disagree. Four of the respondents voted three, which is somewhat agree. And 35 of the respondents voted four, which is strongly agree. And the total average is 3.85. Statement number three: the duration of this event was enough as an exhibit. Three of the respondents voted Five of the respondents voted three, which is somewhat agree, and 35 of the respondents voted for, which is strongly agree. And the total average is 3.875. Statement number four: the host and or the moderators of the virtual exhibit performed their task well. One of the respondents voted two, which is somewhat disagree, and four of the respondents voted three, which is somewhat agree, and 35 of the respondents voted for, which is strongly agree, and the total average is 3.85. Statement number five: the event was well organized and or well executed. Two of the respondents voted two. One of the respondents voted two, which is somewhat disagree. 3 of the respondents voted 3, which is somewhat agree, and 36 of the respondents voted for, which is strongly agree. And the total average is 3.875. For the recommendations, so the problem that was encountered was a 2-hour delay of the concert due to the inevitable rendering of the event, and its cause is the editing of some videos and other parts of the event were not yet done. And the recommendation made is everything should be well organized at least the day before the event. And but the advantage of it is we could still pursue the event because the audience was already updated about the matter. And but the disadvantages, the audience had to wait longer because of the problem. That's all.
With all of that being said, the feedback of our audience with regards to the event is strongly agreeable, where we got a total average of 3.875, which is closer to 4 than to 3. It is among 40 respondents. 86.5% of these respondents fully agreed on the said statements. No? And overall, sa lahat ng activities natin, mas naglilin sila dun sa strongly agreeable kaysa dun sa somewhat agreeable, and very few, no, very countable kung ilan lang yung bumoto ng somewhat disagreeable dun sa ilang statements natin. So with that, I want to congratulate the group, no, and gusto ko take yung opportunity na to na magpasalamat sa lahat ng members ng Alter&Offer sa paggawa ng parts nyo, sa lahat ng nandito ngayon. And kahit yung mga nagkaroon ng connection problem, sa lahat ng effort, time na kahit hanggang ngayon sinasacrifice nyo or binibigay nyo para dito sa group, na ini-invest nyo para dun sa ating advocacy, dun sa ating goal, na masasabi nating dahil dito sa evaluation natin is kita naman natin, numbers don't lie, na it is a success. Masasabi nating naging success yung event. So, ayun lang. Gusto kong thank you doon. So, yun. Good night. Salamat sa pag-attend.
Congrats!
Mas di pala naka-record.